Craig, only one place to start with Wales, of course. Last time Wales beat Denmark, incidentally, you scored the winning goal, Copenhagen, 10 years ago. Not the same result tonight, 2-1 loss. What did you make of their performance tonight?
I thought it was good in patches. I thought a draw would have been a fair result. But Denmark are a difficult team to play against. Defensively, they're very strong. They've, you know, like a lot of Scandinavian teams, like we've seen from Norway, you know, 20-odd years ago. Very strong defence. But with Denmark, they have Eriksen, who has that bit of quality. He is, I don't think I'm over-exaggerating this. I do class him as a world-class player, a real top-end player.
Top bracket players, yeah.
I really do. I think he's that good. And the position he plays, you can see Denmark just, everything goes through him. If they're going to create anything going forward, comes through him. So he does make the difference in that team. But I thought Wales, like I said, played well in patches. A draw would have been a fair result, but it is a disappointing result. Can't get away from that. And just roll on now. This group is just strange. They don't.
It's more than about results at the moment, I think, for Wales, and it's about building something for the future. And I think all the Welsh public will be optimistic about the future of Welsh football because of the influx of the younger players, the style of play, the way Ryan's trying to play. Obviously, Chris Coleman had a fantastic achievement there at the last tournament, and for me, overachieved. You know, now they've got rid of the old guard and they're introducing these really exciting, young, talented players, and it will take time, you know, but I believe it's the only way to go. Yeah,
but these players are, you know, look, it was, and, you know, credit to John Toshak as well. He brought a lot of young players through, but the system wasn't quite in place. It was anyone who had an appearance elsewhere, then he can come and play. And there was a lot of players who didn't quite go on and have professional careers who made debuts. But a lot of the you know, from, I think it was even in my time there when, you know, it changed a lot with Gary Speed, because the FA used to run differently to where the Trust used to run. So with Gary and his hindsight, brought them all together. So if you've seen the Trust, we've been on the coaching courses with Wales, and the Trust financially do have a lot of money. So it's pointless them working separately against the Welsh FA. I say against the Welsh FA, but two different routes. Yeah. Where they have all the GPS, they have all the facilities. Financially, they, believe it or not, they have a lot in place because of, obviously, if people like Tim Sherwood are going to come from England and do their pro licence there, Desai and the likes of Thierry Henry, you have to have everything on the front foot, if you understand what I mean. So it's appealing for the managers from all over the world to come and do their coaching badges in Wales. So facilities and forward-thinking sports science, they have to be on top of. So the Welsh FA, with Gary as well, tried to bring the both in, so they can use their analysis, use the, all the facilities that the Welsh FA didn't have financially, money-wise, weren't able to put in place. He combined the both, and then also allowed us then to use the analysis that we use with, say, for instance, our coaching stuff, but also scouting young players. Also seeing their development, seeing their GPS, seeing what their input and bringing them into the Welsh squad. Because even we had Johnny Williams, Johnny Williams, lovely kid, but I remember he was 18, dual nationality, he was born in England, but invited him into the first team squad. Went to the players, make sure you go out your way, look after this kid, we like him, we want him to play for Wales. And I remember it was his 18th birthday, we all chipped in, bought him an iPad. But the boy loved it.
Great present for an 18th birthday.
No, of course it was, we were gutted. But he loved it. And you could see the responsibility we had as players. We can bring these boys in from elsewhere at a young age, and they can come part of the international squad. And they can feel so well. Like my job even was captain, and even when I wasn't captain, when Aaron took over, because I was sort of coming to the end, I didn't want the responsibilities being captain, but I would still go out, as soon as they arrived, wait for them to arrive into the hotel, then speak to them, tell them about, the players in the past, what we represent, how the group is, because we're very, very close. But at the same time as what's expected of you, enjoy it, and no one, when you come into training, it's a real warm group from the coaching staff to all the players. So, because our responsibility was, we got to make sure you play for us. We don't want you going elsewhere. So we want to make this environment so good, and you feel so relaxed and so part of it. No other international squad matters. And then qualifying for the Euros, because it was just a natural process, listen, they earned the right, but players got better and better, and we are producing better players. Of course, we are due to the quality of the Welsh clubs as well. But during that period, especially qualifying for the championships, it just gave us a green light then to say, well, Ampadu,
Yeah.
Woodburns,
Brooks.
Wilsons,
Harry Wilson, David Brooks, yeah.
come train.
Yeah.
So they were training the Euros leading up to it. They might not got in the squad, but they're part like Tyler Roberts was. So all these players have all been involved in the first team squad from a very young age. They know then straight away it's only a matter of time before they get their debut. Now, you know, you can go and play for it. Like I remember Mark Hughes said years ago, England have changed now, but there's a lot of good quality young players coming through England. But you could maybe have a few caps for England if you're on the fringe. You know, some players like your Rooney's are always going to go on and have England careers, yeah. Or you can go and have a Welsh career. You can go and have a career at the international level. And that, I think a lot of young players are appealing to that. And when you're a part of something that, you know, the setup's good, you know, it's modern. Before it wasn't. Where it's now, it's set up. It's just like being at your club. All the information gets fed back to your club as well. Not at all ages, like because I'm involved in the younger ones.
Yeah.
I'm still moaning about it, yeah.
Okay.
But I would moan even if it was on date, was on point. But at the same time, they've just progressing, and there's no coincidence young players are coming through with the quality, but the environments we've got the environment right for these young players to come in and also feel part of the Welsh squad.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. The interesting point you raised. Ryan Giggs has given debut to 5 players under the age of 23. All the build-up to the game was how many young players Ryan Giggs has given debuts to. But you're saying this is a development of what's been happening with Welsh football in general. Here they are on screen, debutants that Wales have had under Ryan Giggs. And obviously, this isn't including the likes of Ethan Ampadu, Ben Woodburn, Harry Wilson, David Brooks, who are all coming through as well. So is Giggs reaping the benefits of what you're saying with the wider issues that are going on with Wales at the minute? No,
look, but it's his job to keep that going as well.
Yeah.
That's part of his responsibility. That was part of, even, you know, when I spoke to the Welsh FA, was we have to produce. We have to keep, like, I want to qualify for under-17s. I want to qualify for under-19s. I want to qualify for under-21s. I want the coaches then, you know, we all have to be, because I look at our setup, say, for instance, we have Ryan Giggs, Robert Page, Paul Bowden, Rob Edwards, all live in England. No, I don't accept that. You've got to be on the ground. You've got to be in our country. So maybe 1 or 2, but you need to be there. You need to be at home, so you need to be at the offices. You have to be involved in this setup, so you have to be on the ground. Because I don't want emails telling me, so I have to tell you who's playing well. You should be able to see it, and you've got to see everything for yourself. But also meetings and regular basis that, you know, if the under-17s are playing the tournament, I want to know how the under-17s done. I also want to see how they played, who'd you play against, what systems you use. So we're all in it together, and that's the best way of progressing the whole way, and that goes through all the age groups. If I'd done the first team game, I'd have to do a presentation to all the age groups. This is how we done it, this is the problems we had, or this is how it went well, this is what we worked on in training, so you show that. I have to do a presentation after every game, and I expect the same from the 21s, 19s, and all the way going down. So I'm always kept in the loop, and we're all in it together. It hasn't, you know, look, Ryan would do it his own way.
Yeah,
that was my way of looking at it. But also my responsibility, I thought, was, well, there's got to be a future without Gareth. There's got to be a future without 1 or 2 of these players now, because, you know, we're heavily reliant on Gareth. Of course, we are like Portugal are with Ronaldo, or, you know, and listen, there's no shame in it. Don't worry about that. We're not worried about it. But we have to be then, where's the next players coming from? So Gareth's not always going to be around. Are we going to be in a healthy position, just as healthy position of when he goes? Because you're never going to replace him as an individual, but is the team going to remain as strong when he does leave? So it's still building for the future now. And to be fair to Ryan, I'm thinking he's fully on board with that.
That's why they appointed someone like Ryan Giggs, a young manager, wants to build a career in the game. He's not someone who's managed 20 clubs and he's coming there just to see out his career. He's looking to build a career, and he's starting at the Welsh FA, and I think it's a great point. What Craig makes is the working environment for all them young kids to want to stay at that nation and want to stay, and not that Brooks could do easy. I mean, he represented England. Yeah, he represented England.
He was played in the tournament with England as well.
Ampadu's another one who could have come to England. They're good enough. They're good enough to be able to come and do that. These are top players. We saw tonight, and Brooks is a top player. You know, he had his moments tonight, but he will emerge into a top Premier League player and an international player.
So with that said, Tim, how do you assess the job that Ryan Giggs is doing as manager? 8 games in, appointed in January 2018. Obviously, Chris Coleman did a fantastic job with Wales, getting them to the semi-final of Euro 2016. What is your assessment of Ryan Giggs as manager?
I think he's doing well. I think what they've done is the Welsh FA have given him a remit to rip it up and start again, and pretty similar to what what Gareth Southgate's doing with England,
Yeah.
but Gareth has got more tools to work with, you know, so he's coming from a higher standpoint, whereas yes, they did very well in that tournament. Everyone knew a lot of them players were coming towards the end and he's going to have to rebuild again, and I think that's what they're giving the remit to do. And it's not all about results at the moment. It's going to take time. He's building, he's trying to build away. He's getting young legs. They've got a very energetic side. They've got a lot of guile in there. They're keeping hold of a few experienced players around. We see Gunter.
Good attitude,
you know,
Yeah.
the good teachers, because it can't always come from the coaching staff. Sometimes it has to come within the dressing room, the players who have been there and done it before and showing them the way, like Craig did to them other guys who used to come into that environment. So it's really important you get good leaders on the pitch, and I think that he is soaking as much as he possibly can out of them experienced players to help out that young group, what he's going to bring in. And I think the whole atmosphere around the Welsh football team at the moment is quite optimistic.
Yeah, you mentioned Chris Gunter there, equaling Neville Southall's record of most capped players tonight, so congratulations to him. Craig, of all these young players, and there's so many young players, who are you most excited about in the Welsh team?
No, there's a lot of players, you know, like Ben Woodman, definitely excited about. Harry Wilson, he's been on he made his debut about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's been a talented player. As Lawrence, you know, going forward is great because, listen, Wales have always had good forward players. If you look back to the late 80s, early 90s, you know, with the likes of Dean Saunders, Mark Hughes, Ian Rush. But defensively, and maybe playing as a structure, we were a little bit behind. This team, over the last few years, I like the way they play, and I like some of the stuff Ryan's done as well. He's tweaked the formation at times, but the identity still stayed the same, which is, you know, very, very important because what we've built on and what suits the players as well, especially with the likes of Joe Allens and all that in there as well. You know, the footballers need the ball. You can't bypass them. They can play between the lines. But also as a structure, they got legs who can press from the front, but also legs who can run beyond, which is key. But at the same time, like I always look at it, you know, and the players as well, is we have a legacy to protect. You know, this is more than football. This is to us, and this is where it's gone now over the last, 7-8 years. You know, we are here to protect the legacy. This got started by Gary. Now Welsh football has suddenly just gone. He is one of the most important individuals that represented our country, but also that has left us in this position.
Left a lasting legacy.
Left a lasting legacy. Yeah, we have to protect, and that's so important to the players who are there now. And Cookie was brilliant because Cookie tried to do identically everything Gary done, but he isn't him. You can't be the same.
Did he? In what way, Craig?
He just wanted to keep the same bit going because we were on such a good run, and the way we were going about things, it was. I think he didn't know what to do. He wanted to, because he loved Gary as well. He wanted to protect what he'd done, but sort of be him as well. He couldn't. And it took him a while to get his own stamp on it. And Ryan would have his own stamp, but everyone there is, especially with the players as well. And I think that's why the unit is unique. And I know people that always say about a group of players, they're very close-knit and this. And I see a lot as lip service, but you will not come across a group as close as this. I've not seen, even I seen them on Tuesday when we were training with different age groups. As I go past, you stop and wait and talk to each other for a long time. And it's because we went through something that very few football teams and players have ever had to go through. And it just reunited. So that bond is so close. And also the connection then towards the fans and the players is the best I've ever seen it. As a group of supporters adore their players, adore what's going on, adore the pain we've all gone through, but also that's 2016, that championship, what it done to us as a nation, off the back of everything, the heartache we went through. And it's not about football, listen, we've had good teams down the past, we've been very unlucky, but it sort of just changed us. No, we've got to do this, we've got to qualify. Now we're all set for the World Cup. We've done Euros and we'll look to qualify for the Euros, and I expect this group of players to qualify for the Euros. If it doesn't, it'd be very, very disappointing campaign, but the World Cup's what we want. The World Cup is what we're gearing for and what this nation's been gearing for a long time.